The government's role is always a reaction to the people's role. When people begin to understand that they can no longer trust or depend upon centralized systems to take care of themselves, that the greatest capacity for humanity to be taken care of is to take their power back and to take care of themselves by supplying their own food, their own water, their own energy. That's where the beginning of change begins. You know, the truth is that we've lived in one of the most stable periods in the history of the world, and we've had more abundance than has ever been experienced by almost any previous generation in the history of the world. And because of that, it's given people a very skewed concept of what survival is, how to take care of themselves, why they should even be attempting to do those things. But the truth is that we do need to attempt to be taking care of ourselves. So the best thing I can say for the government to do is to get out of the way and allow people to take care of themselves. And by adopting these kind of food systems, communities and families can start to build a sustainable future to where they can be the masters of their own destiny. It won't matter who's in office anymore, because the effect of that government will be very limited in the sense of and scope of what's actually going on in any given community. If you give communities the ability to feed themselves, supply their own power, supply their own clean water, after that, things really become a lot easier for them to decide how they want to manage all of their resources. So the best thing the government can do for us right now is to, at the best, encourage programs like this. You know, I would like to see systems like this installed in every school in America, where children are learning how to grow their own food. And having the capability of learning how to grow their own food, they can appreciate what goes into growing their own food. They can have higher quality food in their schools. And whenever they're not eating that food can be continued to produce for the homeless or the needy in any community. So, the more we scale up, the more we invest in developing systems like these, integrating them into our communities, the more food security we're providing for ourselves, and a cleaner, better future and healthier food we're supplying to our communities. So really, there's every reason from every angle that you can think of along the political spectrum for us to be changing our food growing models into models that are much more community-based and are started at a much more local level. Instead of us using these traditional systems that we're just piling everything in and then shipping it thousands and thousands of miles. Like, as I've said before, those systems are unsustainable. Those methods are unsustainable. They're not healthy for the earth. They're not healthy for people. The studies that have shown, the fact is we should be eating our food as quickly as it's picked out of the ground or harvested. With these kind of systems, we can do farm to table. You can have your kids at school eating food that was picked that morning, with food that was absolutely fresh and the highest nutrient content. When you look at the pictures of what a lot of kids are eating in schools today versus what they could be eating if we would just tweak, if we would just do a small amount of investment, then things could be so fundamentally different.